When you're buying your new home, you're faced with a number of choices. How many bedrooms do you need? Where do you want to buy? Do you want a period or modern home, for example? Sometimes, with all of these exciting choices to be made, the perhaps less exciting decisions about who to appoint as your professional advisors can be neglected, with many buyers simply using whoever the estate agent tells them to. Remember, if you're buying through a particular agent, you aren't their client and they are not there to look after your interests. We have a separate video on referral fees and how using estate agent recommended advisors can be costly. For a smooth buying process, it is crucial to choose the right advisors, such as your solicitor or mortgage broker, but in this video, I'll be exploring considerations to ensure that you can choose the perfect surveyor for you. I'm Tim Clarke, a Director and Chartered Building Surveyor at Harrison Clarke Chartered Surveyors. Just as every purchaser has different needs for the type of home they're buying, they will also have different requirements for their survey and will need to choose their surveyor accordingly. In my experience, the majority of buyers are interested in the extent of disrepair which needs to be dealt with in a real-world manner and how much this is going to cost them, presented in a way that's easy to read and understand. So that's how I and my team present our surveys. This isn't always the case, however. Sometimes, if the subject property is of particular historical significance, a buyer might be really interested in the history of the property and might perhaps want a really detailed understanding of how the building has been constructed, as they are often not well acquainted with older construction techniques. If this sounds like you, you'll really want to choose your surveyor carefully. Even within our team at Harrison Clarke, I'd only allocate this type of survey to one of our most experienced surveyors with an interest in historic buildings. The most important consideration for some buyers will be price. We understand this, and this is a perfectly valid consideration. Buying a property can present cash flow issues, and some buyers will just appoint based on how much the initial report will cost them. This is the area where appointing a surveyor can turn into a real minefield, but as with anything, you typically get what you pay for. Just be aware that you might end up with an inexperienced surveyor and a report that's light on specific details and heavy on caveats. Some buyers will have left their survey right to the last minute. If this is you, oops. Don't assume your surveyor will be able to get to site straight away, particularly in a very buoyant market. This might, however, restrict your choice of surveyor, but typically at Harrison Clarke, we can inspect properties within 5 working days of instruction. This was the case recently, even when other surveying firms were offering 6-week wait times. You should also consider how else a building surveyor might be able to add value to your purchase. It's quite common for purchasers, once they have received their report, to want to ask their surveyor questions. If you think this might be you, it's worth knowing that your surveyor will be friendly and approachable, and that these consultations are included in the survey price. I remember when I bought my first home, I chose the lowest price surveyor, and when I raised a couple of queries, my emails simply were not responded to. I found this really disappointing and frustrating, but I put this down to experience. Your surveyor might even be able to give you some pointers on how to use your report to renegotiate the asking price. I'd say the more experienced the surveyor you appoint, the more useful advice they will be able to offer in this regard. Most buyers won't be buying properties regularly, so it's sometimes difficult to know exactly who to use. Assuming you're not after rock bottom pricing, I'd always look out for a surveyor who is a member of the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, the RICS, and ideally who has over 10 years experience. A quick phone call to potential surveyors asking these questions will provide a great guide. If they're friendly when they answer your call, there's a good chance that this will continue through the process. If they're a bit grumpy or even unhelpful, then that's probably what your surveyor will be like too. Most surveyors will be really happy to work with clients who care about their experience and qualifications, and will be more than happy to answer these types of questions up front. Often the best surveyors will be in the most demand and can command higher prices. While expensive doesn't always mean good, price can be a good indicator that you're dealing with an outfit that employs experienced surveyors who are able to add value to the home buying process. Bigger firms will often use tablet software to create their reports. In some instances, this makes the surveyor little more than a data entry clerk and really restricts them from offering the best advice, as they have to make the software and their company's caveats match the property. This often results in reports which are clunky and difficult to read. Not a great result for the client, but it does mean that these surveying practices can wiggle out of any claims as a result of using inexperienced surveyors. I'll let you into a little secret. Harrison Clarke does not try to compete on price, but rather we offer a great service with friendly, knowledgeable surveyors who will provide the best quality expert advice to each individual client. If you think that Harrison Clarke could be the perfect surveyor for you, then you clearly have good taste and you are almost certainly right. We'd love to help you choose the right survey for your property and will match you up with the best surveyor for your instruction, who will be happy to speak with you after your survey has been sent out. Give us a call on 02381 550051 and we will be pleased to assist you on your home buying journey.